positive change. I don't think Mo hates many people. I think that he gets a lot of information from a lot of different people and is in the position where he has to do what he can with what he has.
Okay, now it's recording. Adele, don't hate me.
No, never. I could never.
Basically, we were just talking about one of the greatest wins she's had so far on the WNO 24 stage, where she took on ADCC Brazilian Trials winner A-Rod, who is also going to be in that division for under 55 kilograms. So when you look at that win, I know you probably wanted to get the sub, but you got to feel out one of the people that you're going to be competing against in a little over a month now. So, what kind of confidence are you bringing into ADCC, knowing that you got a good win against a solid opponent in that bracket?
I think for me it was making sure that I'm kind of checking the boxes in the lead up to ADCC, making sure that I'm testing myself against these high level girls. Uh, I don't want to have any kind of second guessing feeling. I want to make sure that like I feel really confident going out there. It definitely sets the tone for that division. It's a big win to have under my belt. It definitely makes a statement to the other girls in the division that I can hang with some of the best in that division. But I feel very good. I feel like I made a statement. Definitely wanted a submission, but I knew that it was going to be a tough one to get a submission on. I know her style of jiu-jitsu was going to make it really tough to keep and hold engagements. She was wanting to back up a little bit more than what I wanted originally, but very happy that I had the win. Very happy that I was stayed calm and composed the whole time as well.
Another win on the WNO stage. The last time you got a win on the WNO stage was against Tubby Aliquin, who you were a replacement fight for with Fionn Davis. End up getting a quick Aoki lock, the quickest we had ever seen at that point in WNO history. Just random facts that I pulled out of my head out of nowhere there. But obviously such an awesome performance. I mean, I feel like you're really on the radar of people, of the jujitsu nerds, of the jujitsu community of like, oh, who is this girl who has great guard game? Now she's taken on ADCC coming up here. So out of all the wins that you've had so far, what do you think stacks up as your favorite win?
That's a really tough one. Like definitely the Tubby match was a great match for me. I got the call up about 2 weeks before that actually happened, knowing that Fionn was dropping out and Ricardo kind of jumped into my DMs and let me know that the match was coming my way and we took it straight away. So just training up for that. That was an awesome experience. It was definitely really exciting to be a part of that show. Like I remember watching it when I was quite young and then wanting to get on that platform, wanting to get on that show because it was kind of the top tier. It was what I was working towards getting onto. But yeah, that's tough. I've had a lot of, to be honest, I'm also like, this sounds terrible. I'm also remember the matches that I lose, and they're the matches that I kind of like analyze and always like I'm always thinking about those matches. They're the ones that tend to stay in my head a little bit more. So like the match with Maisa Bastos at Brazilian Nationals when we did the gi, the finals. That's probably one that I replay in my brain most nights before I go to bed and just like analyze that. But that was a very fun match for me. That was a very exciting match. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out.
And I know one of the losses that really was a bit of a motivation for you headed into this A-Rod fight was when you guys competed in the gi and you lost those. And so that was a little bit of extra motivation that you're like, oh, I really want that win back. So you got the win, you did it in dominant fashion. And how are you going to be taking that energy into ADCC?
Almost like this revenge story that I completely made up in my head that was my motivation. But yeah, we fought at some of the lower belts. We fought at purple belt and brown belt, and she caught me on both of those. Actually, choking me out when I was a purple belt for the first time ever. My dad was streaming that match live and thought I was dead on the mats. I know,
Oh
it's
no.
terrifying. No, I was fine. My dad was a little bit scared at the time, but
But you went to sleep.
yeah, I did. I went to sleep.
What kind of
I
choke was it?
It was like a ninja choke from the top of north south. And I kind of, when I was in it, I made a decision that she's either letting go of this or I'm going out. So I'm like, I'm not going to tap to this. I'm either going completely out or I'm getting out of this and I'm turning this match around. So it was tight. She ended up choking me out. But there was definitely a little bit of revenge there for her. I don't know. I don't even know if she remembers that, but that definitely motivated me for sure to make sure that I got that one back for me.
Wow. Well, I did not know that part of the story. That just makes the win that much sweeter. And now you have a few other names that you could be looking forward to in this under 55 kg division. Marco Cicerelli, Ana Rodrigues that you just beat, Jasmine Hosha, Maisa Bastos is invited, Alex Enriquez, Brenda Larissa, and Bianca Basilio. So, out of all of those names, is there anyone in particular that you're like, I want that matchup?
Oh, that's tough. That's a very tough one. There's so much talent in that division. There's so many like I would love a match with all of them. I definitely am looking at that match with Maisa Bastos. At some point, whether that's on the WNO stage or we take it to the ADCC stage, whatever that's going to be. I think her jiu-jitsu is very beautiful jiu-jitsu. I think she's incredibly technical, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of rolling with very technical people. So I would definitely love that match. Basilio, that's just, I've been watching Basilio for years. That would be an incredible match. I would love the opportunity to get on the stage with her. But there's like at this stage, you honestly can't go wrong. It's such a stacked division with so much talent on the mats that any one of those girls would be an absolute privilege to be out there with.
Were you at all surprised when Fionn said that she was going to be competing in the under 55 kg division as she was returning as a 2022 ADCC champion? I think some people might have thought she was going to do a division up, but were you surprised that she wanted to do under 55?
Yeah, it definitely came as a surprise. Like, she was actually in Melbourne for a little bit, and we had some discussions back and forth. I won't say much on those discussions, but the it 55 was always going to be a tough division for some of these girls to cut down to, especially when the rules were that you need to make weight for the 3 days consecutively, so the Friday, Sunday. So some of that could have been a deciding factor whether or not some of these girls could have cut down to that weight, but obviously the rules got changed, but obviously other circumstances changed as well. I definitely was surprised that she made the decision to come down to 55, but was definitely eager for the challenge. That's again another match that I want back, another match that I'd love to replay. I'm a very different grappler like then than I am now. I was a brown belt at the time. I was like 21, 22 years old at the time. So I've definitely developed. So I'd definitely love a match again with Fionn.
And the first time that I had heard that the rules had changed from weighing in every day to only once a day when I was talking to Cade, and he basically had mentioned that was why Ty had moved up a division because that weight cut was like literally making him physically ill. And now that that's not happening, Ty being in the division that he was going to do would have been less advantageous because people would be going back up in weight. So when you look at the rule change, is that something that you were like hyped for, or were you kind of like, oh, I kind of enjoyed the fact that I would be, since you mentioned that you wouldn't have to cut so much weight, you kind of walk around closer to the minus
Mm.
55.
For me, like for me, the 3 day weigh-in would have been beneficial for me because it's not a big weight cut for me, so I can comfortably sit at 55 for the 3 days straight. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm in two mindsets about it. Like part of me is happy that it takes a little bit of the pressure off of these people doing like of all these athletes doing crazy weight cuts and then like sustaining that really like that massive weight cut for such a prolonged amount of time. Like it's not very healthy. They're not going to be competing at their optimum performance. But then I'm also in the mindset of it also encourages people to do even crazier weight cuts because they only need to do it for a really
Mm-hmm.
short amount of time. And I'm of the mindset of I don't want to see anybody doing anything too silly. I don't want to see anybody getting injured because they overestimate how much water they can get out of their body or they overestimate how much weight they can cut in a short amount of time. I just hope that these guys do it safe. I hope that these guys make sure that they're getting the support that they need to make sure that everything's done healthy. I hope that everybody ends up on the mat in one piece. But for me, I'm happy either way. I'm not super fussed. I just hope that everybody's safe and not being too crazy.
And what was your immediate reaction when they announced that the minus 55 kilogram division was even a thing?
Oh, I was jumping for joy. I remember exactly where I was. I was in London at the time with my family. We were at a comedy show, funny enough, and before the comedy show had even started, my phone just kept buzzing, kept buzzing, kept buzzing, kept buzzing, and I checked it, and I had like 50 messages from people being like 55 division, 55 division, 55 division, and I was ecstatic. I was so happy about it because number one, there's another now people, 8 females that get the opportunity of being on the ADCC stage. But also 55 is a great division for me. Like it's a great weight range for me. I don't sit much heavier than that, so the cut down is pretty easy for me. But it's just very, very cool to see something that was talked about for so long actually come to fruition and actually be now in the biggest show that there is.
And there were some changes in pay as well, just to show you guys are going to be getting at least 2,500. It might have changed from then. And then if you win, it is matched to the guys' pay with 10,000. So what other, like, were you just hearing all of that news and being like, all right, what's next? Or what was your initial reaction? Is it not like super about the money for you?
Uh, I would be lying if I said that the money wasn't a great thing. I don't do jujitsu. I definitely don't do jujitsu for the money. Most jujitsu athletes will tell you that they don't do jujitsu for the money. If I wanted to be rich, I'd be rich and miserable working a desk job. I do jujitsu because I love jujitsu. Like I absolutely love it. I've been doing it ever since I was a kid. But the pay definitely makes a massive difference. I think for me, it takes the pressure off all the expenses that come with having a fight camp. I'm currently in America. I'm overseas. I'm not working. I'm training, I'm putting all of my time and my energy into this training camp. And now I'm in a position where I don't feel guilty about that. I don't feel like that I can't eat an extra meal because I can't afford it. Like I'm not panicked about any of those things. I'm feeling very comfortable. It puts us in a position where we can put the time and the energy into our training camp without it being financially detrimental to us. I think that's the main thing. And that's the biggest push for these pay increases. It's not because we need money to spend on cars and all that kind of stuff. That would be cool too. But it's just because like we spend time, we sacrifice financially to be able to put on a really good performance for everybody out there. And it is cool to get compensated for that and be in a position where we can afford to have these training camps so we can put on a better performance. And that's going to then increase the standard of jiu-jitsu that's out there. And it's just going to keep kind of snowballing in that direction, which will be very cool to see.
Yes, that will be so awesome to see. And I'm so happy for you that you're able to, do these training camps and not be super stressed out about, what the next meal is going to look like and different things like that, because it is kind of hard to focus on like all the physical stuff that you guys have to do and then also have to worry about all the recovery and and staying on weight. And to stay on weight, you have to eat healthy. Like you can't be eating McDonald's every day.
100%.
So I'm
But even
super happy
things
for you.
even things like affording the nutritionist or like affording the PT or the physiotherapy or the recovery things, like all the stuff that actually keeps our body together, it costs money. And if we can keep our bodies together in an optimum, like peak physical performance, then we can perform better. And in order to perform better, we need money. It's this whole like feedback loop. It's like with any sport, you see people in soccer, you see people in basketball, you see them earning millions of dollars. I think LeBron, I could definitely be absolutely pulling this out of my butt, but LeBron spends like $1.5 million on just nutrition or just a private chef alone, and look at what he's been able to achieve. So it's definitely definitely helps with those things.
Yeah, there's definitely levels to the way that you can provide for yourself and be able to optimize the performance of an athlete. And there obviously has been so much drama in the lead up with all the ADCC drama, but it's not as if the girls are so much influenced because CJI doesn't have a woman's bracket. So is all of the jujitsu news and drama kind of just like background noise to you? Or do you kind of like to keep your pulse on like everything that's going on?
I definitely keep a pulse on it. I want to know what's going on. I want to know who's going to be there. I want to know, part of me is just because like anybody, I enjoy a little bit of drama. I enjoy people kind of talking behind the scenes about what's going
Eating the
on.
popcorn, watching it
Uh,
go down.
Absolutely love it for sure. I eat that shit up. But it's funny because the females technically aren't really involved besides like Fionn McKenzie and Gabby Garcia. Like at this stage there's no other females involved in it. Um, so we can kind of sit back and watch what's going on a little bit more rather than actually be like in that situation of, oh my God, what's going to happen? What am I going to do? There's pros and cons to that. There's like definitely less stressful for us. We can just focus on what we're going to do. But the other side of things is some of these guys have like big negotiation power where people of either side are throwing a whole lot of money at them, and they can kind of play the field a little bit more and they can negotiate a little bit more. Whereas a female is we're just along for the ride at this stage.
I mean, it's definitely at the point where uh, we need to be respecting women's voices within this community and the talent that they bring. And I feel like the argument of, oh, well, the girls don't move the needle as much is kind of outdated and not super relevant.
Mm.
But I do think that's awesome that you guys can kind of stay out of the drama, but still know that there is change going on. I know Fionn was kind of being 2022 ADCC champion, she really, I guess, put her foot down and knew that her leaving would make a bit of a difference. Do you think that there was going to be any changes if Fionn didn't leave ADCC?
The like the positive side of me wants to always be like, yeah, like this was always gonna happen, like it was always gonna pay was always gonna get up and it was always gonna be equal and we were always gonna get paid. But the reality is, who knows? Like the reality is it could have stayed the same, and if CGI didn't step in, then we would have nothing to negotiate with. I think it's good to have competition in the market. It's like it is tough now that it's on the same day. Like that's a lot. That's tough for a lot of athletes. But it does move it in a positive direction. It does, give us a voice and actually kind of prompt for change. The positive side of me wants to say that this was all going to happen anyway, though. So it's
Yeah,
really hard to tell.
yeah, no, it's good to try to keep a positive mindset with everything. I know Mo Jassam has done so much for the sport of jujitsu, so I hope he doesn't hate me too much because I was the one in the group chat that was kind of like, "Hey, why are the girls not making?" And I didn't mean it as like a call out. I was just genuinely curious, like, why is it still that way?
Hey, but here we are, and it made a positive change. I don't think Mo hates many people. I think that he gets a lot of information from a lot of different people and is in the position where he has to do what he can with what he has. So I definitely respect him for pushing for the female division and pushing for the equal pay. It's moving the needle in the right direction. We just got to keep pushing for that. That's definitely where we got to go.
Exactly. And also bringing back the absolute division. Is the absolute division something you are considering?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's Mo says a lot. It's where legends are made. You can have champions in each division, but the absolute division is where all the legends are made. It's the people that you hear about for years to come. I get the privilege of training with Lockie Giles in Melbourne, and he did an absolutely incredible performance in the absolute division and took out some massive names, and has been able to continue to spread his jiu-jitsu around off the back end of that, which is absolutely amazing. It gave him the name. He was already an amazing competitor, but it proved that he was an amazing competitor out there. So I definitely have my eyes on the absolute. Just got to make sure that the body holds up in the training camp so I can actually get out there and be in one piece and do it in a safe way.
Well, I am so excited to see your tiny self kick some butt in those heavier divisions because that is the biggest inspiration for me. Like I have never done an absolute bracket, but I have so much respect for the people that do. I know you're currently in California, kind of getting some training in with different camps there. So I think it was Atos that you were training with. What was the
Yep.
connection there?
So I met Gava ages and ages ago. I think I would have been, I want to say like a blue belt, maybe a purple belt. He came to Melbourne, did a seminar at my home gym, which was Dominance in Melbourne. And I liked the vibe that he had. I liked how he coached. I liked his confidence and his demeanor on the mat. Definitely stuck with me after he left. But when I was like a little bit older and I was coming more to California, I decided to do a couple of just drop-ins at Atos, and again, just the same culture and the same vibe that he had on the mats when he came for his seminar was very much the same vibe that he had on the mats day to day. It wasn't something that he put on just for a seminar room. It was he walks onto the mat positive, whether it's 6 a.m. in the morning or whether it's a 6 p.m. class. It doesn't matter. He's coming on with really good attitude, getting everybody hyped up. And not only that, like the culture spreads through the gym. Everybody there is excited and happy to be there. Like everybody is very like motivational. They're helping you. They're trying to beat the living daylights out of you, like day in day out. But after like when that's all done, we kind of get off the mat. And you're like, yeah, that guillotine that you hit me with was incredible. And that other person goes, yeah, that heel hook that you got me with is absolutely amazing. So there's like this culture of beating the shit out of each other. And then gonna go get a coffee afterwards and telling each other how great each other is. So that's what definitely stuck with me. And now all my major training camps, I come to Atos and enjoy my time in the room and my time with so many incredible athletes. I have made some really good relationships while I've been here, and now it just feels like a bit of a second home.
I'm so happy for you because the energy, I've been at Athos, I think when I interviewed Josh Hinger at one point and I saw a
Yeah,
little bit of a class and I know some of the girls, Amanda Bruze and
yeah,
Rose Miller, they're all the
exactly.
freaking best.
They're all
Yeah.
the best. They're just such good energy to have on the mats, and they'll stick around with you afterwards and they'll ask you questions and you'll bounce ideas off each other. So everybody's just there to make everyone better, whether or not we're in the same division at one point or whatever's going to happen in the future doesn't matter. We're all just there to make each other better. We're all there to help each other, and that culture definitely seeps through all the way down, even to their teens division. Like they're the female teens are absolutely incredible. They're smashing it at the moment. Sarah just won. I think like literally just won American Nationals, and then they got like Emily and Alexa that's on a little bit later on today. But also like Jadea's there, Lily's there, and it's an amazing team, and that culture seeps down to these 16, 17, 18-year-old girls that are going to be absolute phenomenals in the future.
Oh my God, they're going to be monsters.
Yep.
And you get to enjoy that San Diego weather. So
Oh,
I'm stoked that you get to enjoy that, get some sunshine after some hard training sessions,
it's
which I know you'll
beautiful at the moment.
probably, yeah, I'm sure you're going to have to get back to training sometime soon. So if there's any sponsors, teammates specifically that you want to give a shout out to, the floor is yours.
Oh, I definitely want to give it a shout out to kind of all the sponsors that have been helping me through this journey. Some of them more recently, and some of them have been with me for a long time. Hyperfly has been with me for quite a while now. I joined the Hyperfly team when I was quite young. I want to say somewhere around like 16, 17 even. I was given my first gi by those guys. And to be now a part of that family has been awesome. Midnight City, who's a company out of Melbourne, they've been supporting me and allow me to do what I do by just kind of looking out for me. Um, Black Magic, they're a finger tape company. They've been supporting me as well. They also have the best finger tape in the game, and like unbiasedly, I really like the quality of what they have. Bulletproof Jiu Jitsu, they do specifically like Jiu Jitsu style workouts and like kind of workout routines. They have an awesome app for that I really enjoy doing, especially if you want like a really quick and easy workout. You can do that. If you want something that's a little bit more of a long term commitment thing, they do that as well. I'm probably going to leave people out. That's the thing I'm always scared about. Oh, the fight dietitian. He's the guy that makes sure that I can actually make weight and be
I've heard of
sensible.
him.
He's incredible. He is one of those guys that he doesn't base his stuff on like fads or what you think is the correct thing. He actually does the research, and all the stuff that he does is proven, and it doesn't sacrifice. Like I'm not miserable when I'm weight cutting, even if I'm in like a slight calorie deficit. I'm not miserable. I'm still eating things that like I'm craving. If I'm craving red meat, he'll let me eat red meat. If I'm craving some sweets here and there, he'll let me eat some sweets here and there. I'm not miserable when I'm weight cutting with Jordan, and he makes sure that everything is done safe as well. And I think that's one of the most important things. I think people underestimate how important it is to understand your body and understand how like weight fluctuation actually works and all the water weight cutting and all those things. It's a science, and it goes well above my head. So that's why I definitely have him in my corner, because he keeps me on track. But other than those guys that sponsor me, definitely all my training partners and my kind of list of people that support me in that way. It really does take a village. When people say that, it really does. I've had Dave Hart's been with me since I was a kid, and he promoted me to my black belt, so he's been with me through the journey. Jake O'Driscoll, who's out of Perth, he's the guy that kind of tells me exactly what I need to be doing when I can just be a robot and do what he's asking me to do, and plan out my training sessions. So that's really good. And obviously all the guys in those gyms, all the guys at Absolute, I have a very long list. All the guys at Absolute that train with me all the time, they've been so much help for me. And then obviously the guys at Atos that have just put their time and their energy into me to allow me to really hit this training camp properly. And you already said it, like Amanda Bruce has been an awesome training partner with me on the mats recently. So definitely want to give her a shout out because she's incredible. Oh,
I hope you've,
I'll get
oh,
in heaps of
sorry.
trouble if I don't mention my girlfriend.
Yeah, you can't forget that.
No,
Come
I
on.
can't. Huh? She's and I mentioned her in most interviews. She's actually the brains behind it. She's the one that does all the research. She just makes me look good out there. She's the one that's actually doing the match review, and she's actually doing the you should try this and you should do that, which is funny. She's only a blue belt, but she knows more about the statistics of jiu-jitsu than I do. Yeah,
That doing her research though. Sometimes
of
people are
course.
like better like that cerebrally versus like actually doing the training side of it. Not that that's the case with her, but
Yeah, she's
wow.
valedictorian kind of thing. She's a dentist. She's academic, so she definitely makes me look good out there.
Well, we cannot wait to see you in action for ADCC 2024. That's going to be a huge, huge event. And obviously, this is not going to be the last time that we hear about all the amazing things that you're doing. So thank you so much for the time.